A lot of people hate this film. Hello everybody and welcome to my review of Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Transformers 2, whatever. Yeah. Basically, sequel to the 2007 movie Transformers, directed by Michael Bay. This is also directed by Michael Bay. And the story is that the Transformers are told, like a prophecy, that the Fallen will rise again. And Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf, is off to college, and he is called back to help the Autobots, and go after this. I don't know. Well, things happen. A certain character dies. Spoiler alert. Shia LaBeouf has to go after the Matrix of Leadership, which is this ancient device that that repowers a Transformer, that basically brings a Transformer back to life, and he has to bring a certain Transformer back to life in order to basically there's this this Decepticon called the Fallen, who is also a Prime, is trying to destroy the sun. By harvesting energy by destroying the sun. It's a confusing plot. They got a bit muddled. Yeah. Yes, Transformers 2. I don't know really. It's hard to say. I don't hate it, or at least I don't hate it as much as everyone else. It's very flawed. It's unbelievably flawed. For me, I liked the first one. The first one was just grounded. It was solid. It was fun. It was just a fun ride. You know, and it had a simple plot. It was basically just, you know, they come down to Earth and they have a civil war on Earth. Yeah. Yeah, and the second one, it's clearly not as good. Part of the reason why I think everybody doesn't like this is the fact that it's very over the top, and I agree. It is over the top, and I'm not going to argue with that. I do think this movie is over the top, and it needs to be like toned down on so many levels. Apart from the fact that, you know, the plot doesn't take off until like over an hour into the film. Like, the first hour is really rough. It's just like, you know, it focuses quite a lot on Shia LaBeouf and him going to college, and you know, he's not too bad in this film. He's okay. He's a bit annoying in certain scenes, but there is another character called Leo who is bloody annoying. He is annoying. When I mean annoying, very annoying. Megan Fox is in this. Megan Fox is in it. Yeah, and John Tuturro is in it. They're just sort of along for the ride, really. Megan Fox, she's not. Her performance is terrible. I mean, her performance was sort of all right in the first one, but in this one, it's even worse. Well, I think that might have been because at this sort of time when she was filming for Transformers 2, she wasn't particularly on best terms with Michael Bay. But yeah, no, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, it's very messy. There's a load of action. They've put in more action into this film than the first one, and you can really tell that. I like the action, but there is a lot of it. It does feel bloated, this film. This film does feel very bloated. You're just like, whew, blimey. The parents are more annoying in this film than they are in the first film. Because in this film, there is a scene when there is a scene where Sam's mother, I don't know the actress's name. Sam's mother is sort of like, she like eats these brownies that have been drugged or something, and it's just, and then she goes a bit doolally. You're just like, is this necessary? Michael Bay thinks he has a sense of humour. He thinks he thinks that he's funny, and he puts all this comedy into Transformers 2. Like the first hour feels like a softcore sex comedy, and pretty much the same in the third one. I'll talk about the Dark of the Moon when in the next review. But I was just like, what? Like there was a lot of weird sexual moments. Like, why is that in there? Like, there's this girl that's like perving on Sam, and there's this scene where she's like, they're like on the bed together, and she's like, they like kiss or something, and Michael Bay makes a plot point of this. He actually, I'm not going to say in case you haven't seen it, but I think everybody's seen this film by now. But Michael Bay makes a plot point out of it, and you just go, this is ludicrous. This is ludicrous. There are moments in this which are just ludicrous. And I don't think it helps that this movie's longer than the first. It's 150 minutes. The first movie was like 143 minutes, and this was, I mean, that was still too long. This movie is way too long, way too loud, and just way too bloated. There is just too much going on in this film. Although, my favourite scene is probably the scene with Jetfire. I know that some people might find that annoying, but I actually thought that was quite funny. For anything else, if Michael Bay tries to put more comedy in, I think that scene was probably the highlight. But it's just a bit, yeah, I mean, before, like when it first came out, I loved it, but obviously now I don't. I think it's a fun action film. It has its good action, it's fun, but it's long. It's just like, it's really long. Like, it doesn't need to be this long. Yeah, it's not as good as the first one. I'm not quite sure if it's better than the third one. I don't know. I'll do a ranking when I've seen Age of Extinction and when I've reviewed that, because I'll probably see that. I just didn't feel as interested in the characters this time around. Like the first movie, you had like different groups of characters. You had like Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox. Like, I mean, yeah. You had John Tuturro in the first one as well, and you had the military, and you had the Secretary of Defence, and I actually liked that aspect, the military aspect in the first one. That was really cool, and all those characters sort of came together in the end, and they all played their part in making sure that, you know, during the final battle that they won. The soldiers are there; they're just there to help out. You just don't care about any of the characters in this, like. Not even Shia LaBeouf. I mean, there was only one scene where I thought, okay, in terms of characters, this is the only scene that I can tell they've thought about. Okay, how this might be might be quite a good character moment to have, because this is all happening, and they're sort of like the moment when Sam says to his parents, "Go get in the car and get out of here," and then they're like, "No, this isn't up for discussion. You're my son. We're going to go together." That moment was quite powerful in terms of character, but apart from that, nothing. In the end, I don't know what to say about this movie. I don't hate it. It's okay. I was not sure when I was watching it. I was like, how much do I actually like this? In the end, I thought it was all right, but it was way too long, way too loud, over bloated. Just story gets a bit confusing. Like, it doesn't really take off until like over an hour into the film, which is a worry. And those two twins, they get on my nerves after a while. I mean, they were funny, like, at one point, but then after that it was just like, no. Visual effects, obviously, are astounding, same as the first one. Not gonna lie, that's probably the best thing about this. You only watch Transformers for the visual effects, to be quite honest, and the action, but it doesn't really have much else going for it, unfortunately, which is a shame in one way and a bloody relief in another. So in the end, I'm going to rate Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. 5. I was tempted to say 6, but I don't think it really warrants that. It's a bit messy, this one. This one's a bit of a messy one. Like, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but yeah, I'm sure many of you might think even 5 is too high, but you know, I did find some enjoyment out of this, even if it was very brief, but I still enjoyed it. Yeah. So yeah, that's Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen for you. Yeah, that's it. Tune in next time when I review Transformers: Dark of the Moon, and then Transformers: Age of Extinction once I've seen it, and then I'll do a ranking of the 4 movies. It won't be a long ranking. Well, it might not be because there's only 4 movies. So yar. Okay. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See ya.